Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Just barely got here. We had power out for 26 hours and it was just restored about an hour ago while we were out to dinner. So it's just starting to cool down again in the house and I'm here. Thought I might not be here. I even made a video, didn't post it, but very glad to be here. So what's coming up tonight? We're going to take a look at the Gentleman Junkie giveaway knife. I'm going to show off lots of knives from my collection because tonight's subject is, what's your go-to zombie apocalypse knife? We've talked about stuff kind of glancing around this issue, but I think it's an important issue we get to on this very same night. Also, I'm going to be giving away a knife tonight. This is a real beauty. This is from Dave of OG Blade Reviews. Sent this to me to give away as per usual. And this one is by a brand called Molsect. I had never heard of them, but man, they make a nice knife. And this one is titanium, carbon fiber, and I don't know the steel. I do like that opening hole in that clip point blade. So this is a hashtag knife. This is an open giveaway. The third Thursday of every month is reserved, that's next week, is reserved for Gentleman Junkies, and I'll be showing away the knife we're giving away next week. But this week, all comers can put hashtag knife in the chat and stand to win this Molsect. Also comes with a cool green leather pouch right here and some other goodies that come in the package. Molsect, ever hear of them? I hadn't, but Dave is a maven. Oh, I just cut myself. It's very sharp. You know what a maven is? He's a maven, whether it's a music maven or a food maven, or in this case, a knife maven. It's one of those people who always has their finger on the pulse. They always know the new stuff, and they introduce you to new stuff. I have a couple of vital friends like that who are music mavens, without whom I wouldn't have any idea what's cool and what to listen to. So that's what we're doing tonight. How you guys doing? Oh, also I wanted to mention, Dirk Pinkerton got in touch with me tonight, just out of the blue, and said, I noticed you're at 40,181, I think, subscribers. And when you get to 50,000, I want to give away a custom knife of mine. So he is going to make a custom knife expressly for when I turn 50,000. That's not years, that's subscribers here on the channel. And we're going to give it away on a Thursday Night Knives to anyone. So really, really excited about that, but we need to spread the word. So I will be doing a lot of word spreading. In the meantime, I'm going to ask your advice. I got here, let me put this, obviously this is a zombie apocalypse knife. Let me put this away for now and show you some of Dirk's custom knives. And I want to read the pulse, find out what you guys are thinking. Take a pulse, read the room, you know, all of that. These are the kind of knives you stand to win. Marco, good evening, sir. It's great to have you here with us. He says, good evening, Bob and Jim and Junkies. A zombie apocalypse knife, says Scott. Scott, thanks for joining us. Easy Tops Storm Vector, the make my day knife. Storm Vector, I am not surprised. I have a feeling you have some of that Anglo-Saxon blood in you just from your picture, and that makes sense. Storm Vector is like a big sax knife. Here, let me put these out here. Dion, how's it going? We have Dion Page, my Wyatt Hines war bowie, and my cold steel shovel. That shovel, what a great idea. Shovel's an awesome thing. I also would include a tomahawk. I have only one hand, but I'd use both. I have only one hand, but I'd use both. A cold steel shovel to the head and the Wyatt Haynes war bowie to remove it. King Junkie Jim and all you junkies, I'll see you tonight for Thursday Night Knives. Oh, well, it is here. It is now. Ronnie Finkbeiner, good to have you, Mr. Finkbeiner Jr. Cold steel SR1 paired with an SRK 3V. Great choice for survival, that's for sure. No, not only survival, you could unalive a zombie. Oh, they're already unalive. You could do some serious damage with that 3V SRK. OG Blade Reviews, nice to have you here, Dave. That is the gentleman who donated this Molsect to the channel to give away tonight. The Molsect, I don't know what the model name is. I think it was in the information he sent me a while ago, and I would have to look at my video to see. Evening, Thursday Night Knives Junkie Gang. Evening to you, Dave. Hope you're doing well. Go to Zombie Apocalypse Knife. Must be my Cones Craft neck biter sax. That's the second sax tonight. Yeah, that thing is so cool. Cones Craft. Dave's the only person I know who's got a collection of his stuff, and man, I love those knives. Not just that model, but everything he makes is so cool and immaculate. Ground Fog, nice to have you here, Ground Fog. Always a pleasure, sir. Trent Costello, it's going to be a big one for him. That would be my trusty old Topps Wild Pig sticker. That is an awesome knife. I did not pull that out tonight. Rolando, nice to have Rolando Escotada with us. Good to have you here, sir. I have a feeling the comments section will be becoming a Christmas shopping list. Yes, indeed, sir. Yes, indeed. Oh my gosh. If you guys don't watch Rolando, I'm sure most of you do, but man alive, does he have not only a killer collection and great taste in knives, but some awesome insight. He just put up such a great video about his new fighter chopper Bowie from Schaefer Knives. That thing is gorgeous and great video as always. Matt Lamana, good to have you here, Matt. Buonasera, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Current zombie apocalypse, and buonasera to you, sir. Current zombie apocalypse knife would be my Work Tough Gear Atayal. I think that's a curved upswept one, I think. But to echo Mr. Escotada's sentiment, I'll be taking detailed notes tonight and picking up some Uber shifts. Very nice. Yeah, that's great, man. Every shift. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done Uber, but I've ridden in them, but I haven't driven them. But like, just think every time you take some obnoxious drunk person from A to B, it's like, this is a new knife sitting in the back seat. Marco says, well, we already said hello to Marco, but I'll say it again. Marco, it's a pleasure, man. Good to have you here. Dion says, hello, King Junkies, Jim, and all you junkies. Dion, it's also a pleasure having you here. James Hart, wait, I'm not even going to read it. Kukri, I bet. James Hart, greetings, and oh, Grossa Messer. That's a good call. Greetings and hope everyone is rust-free and sharp. Well, after careful consideration, I've chosen my Grossa Messer. Yes, it is a sword, but Messer in German means knife. Exactly. I want some reach. Well, you know, I'm willing to be loose and easy about this subject because any one of these on the wall would be perfect for a zombie apocalypse. And maybe in concert. I have two back here that you can't see, a Gununting and a Taliban. Probably the Taliban is, well, I don't know. One of my favorites anyway. Let's see. But if I was not allowed the sword, which you are, but if you weren't, I would pick my brand new D-Guard Kukri. That sounds so cool. That has a full handguard and a 12-inch long blade. It was meant for making folks shorter by a head. Yeah, I guess so, man. No. It's for chopping and you just protecting your hand from the things you're chopping. Sword XXXY. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Sword, it's always a pleasure to talk to you down under. My preferences would be an arming sword, but for a knife, probably one of my Ontario Bagwells, either a Hell's Bells or the Gambler. Oh man, you know how I feel about the Bagwells, and the Ontarios are so awesome. I've only picked one up, but I know you have one. I know Rolando has several, and great dude at Blade Show that I went to dinner with said that he has one and he's willing to give it to me. And I said, I accept. I was shameless. I said, I accept. But you know how that is. So I had to be adamant in my accepting because I knew like this conversation will be forgotten. We are both drinking wine. I did not forget. Let me put it that way. He's like, I have two. I only need one. Like, really? I should have just given him my card. Have a nice day. Good to have you here. Have a nice day. Good evening, Junkalos. Zombie apocalypse. Well, Condor is a fighting blade with finger/handguard. Wait. Well, Condor is a fighting blade with finger and handguard. Features a 10-inch OU31 blade with Hamaguri Ba edge. With micarta handle. This is my RMJ Shrike Tomahawk. Also my RMJ Shrike Tomahawk. With that Condor, are you talking about? There's also a Cold Steel Kukri that I purchased a little over a decade ago. The Condor, though, is that the is that the Kiko Masuda knife you showed me a picture of? Because that thing would make a stylish and effective zombie apocalypse knife. Zach, we can call it a Zach, like someone did before. James Hart says, just wondering how many will pick a katana. Yeah, I mean, I like katanas. Don't get me wrong. But for me, I would want something a little shorter, something one-hand wieldable. And you might say, well, a katana is one-hand wieldable. Yes, perhaps for you, but I like these Filipino knives better, the swords. I like the one-handed handles with the serious pommel that just grips your hand. So I would tend more in that direction. Adrian Fighter 35, nice to see you here, sir. And your significant other. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Hope everyone is good. We are good. I hope you're good too. For a zombie apocalypse, I think it would be a toss-up between my Cold Steel Espada and the Warcraft Tanto 12-inch. Ooh, yeah, I would go with the Warcraft, even though I did pull out my G10 Espada. I figured the G10 would be better than the full dress because of the shininess of the full dress. But this does have moving parts, and I think for a zombie apocalypse, you might want a fixie. But I did pull this out knowing that you could pack this up in your backpack real small or in your pocket, and then when you open it up, you have a nearly machete-sized implement. So a great thing to choose. But I think all things considered, I'd go with the 12-inch Warcraft. Ron Crow, nice to have you here, Ron. How's Ohio? Howdy, everyone. Howdy to you, sir. Hope you're well. Craig Vincent says, howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. And I say, Craig, always a pleasure having you here, sir. My mic keeps slipping. Let me see if I can not fiddle with it, but rearrange it here. Jay Demeter, good to have you here, Jay. I would choose my war sword, not Cold Steel, Spyderco Don Dao, and Cold Steel Raja 2. That Don Dao, is that a fixed blade by Lum, by Mr. Lum? I can't think of Lum's first name. I want to say Harold, but I'm just pulling that directly out of my colon. I think it's Bob Lum. Is that a Bob Lum fixie? Craig Vincent says, my zombie knife is my Cold Steel Barong machete. So I have one of the two Barong machetes that Cold Steel put out. I have the first one that has the rubberized Salvadorian style machete grip. I always wanted to get the injection molded one that looks like this, but I just never did. And I think it's still on offer, so maybe I should. I think it's a moral imperative, as a matter of fact. Pete Davidson, good day, blokes. Good day to you, sir. Always a pleasure. Trailmaster would be my first pick. Oh, I love that knife. It's always close to hand, and it works. Bagwell Gambler or my Nepali Sirupati kukri would also be considered. All right, the Trailmaster, I don't know why I didn't pull it out. It was a moment of forgetfulness. That is my most tried and true knife in my entire collection, including folders. I've done so much with that knife and I love it. And it's probably it's pushing 30, baby. It's probably older than some of you. Fred Ferbemeyer says hashtag knife. Why is he saying hashtag knife? I don't get it. Well, that's because if you put hashtag knife in the chat, in the comments, you stand to win this. Around 11, it'll probably be 11, 10 or so. We're going to put everyone's name who put hashtag knife in the hopper, and a random number generator will pick who gets this awesome Molsect folder. You got titanium, you got carbon fiber, and you have a steel I'm not sure of. But it's awesome, and it's wicked sharp, and it's very nicely built, and let's just admit it, quite stylish. Comes to us from Dave of OG Blade Reviews. Also comes with they claim it's leather. I claim it's pleather, but a really nice pocket slip to put it in. So that in the box and all the goodies that come with it. That's why he put hashtag knife in the comments. You do it too. Let's see how many people we can get to make this as fair as possible, I guess. Split and Slices, nice to have you here, Byron. Howdy, Bob, Jim, Junkies. My Zach choice, Ontario RTAC 2, a fine choice. 10-inch of older 5160 or newer 1095. I have an older one, I think. I'm not sure what the steel is, come to think of it. I always assumed it was 1095, but now I'm not sure. And congrats on 40,000 subs. Thank you so much, Byron. We appreciate it, or I appreciate it. I'm sure Jim does too. And when we get to 50, Jim, if you could just go over here for a sec so we can just show. When you go to 50, when we get to 50, Angry Tom's hat next door. Nice to have you here. Hello, Bob, Jim, and all junkies, he says. Hello to you, Angry Tom. It's great to have you here. So when we get to 50,000 subscribers, the maker of these knives, Dirk Pinkerton, wants to make a custom knife, is going to make a custom knife for me to give away to you, one of you lucky folks out there. And let me tell you, every one of my Dirk Pinkerton custom knives, I only have 5, but I plan on increasing it. Every one of them is double-edged. Every single one. It's beautiful. The Razorback, the Matador, which I named. He had no name for it. Now it's called the Matador. The Fire Ant, triple edge, and the Cave Bear. And here, this is the Broadhead. This was one that went into production with Kaiser, albeit single-edged. So I'm putting it out there. Tell your friends, subscribe to the Knife Junkie so I can win whoever this new subscriber is also stands to win a custom handmade Dirk Pinkerton knife. So cool. That custom Dirk is going to be on my radar, says Trent Costello. Awesome, man. Which one? I think Trent, and I don't mean to typecast you, Trent, but I have a feeling you would go for the Razorback. It's just off the top of my head. But I love his stuff. He's very well respected as a designer of knives, production knives, but as a maker standing at his own grinder, he is very respected by some super heavy hitters. And it's no wonder his grinds are immaculate. His designs are beautiful and take a lot of style cues from history and from ethnographic knives. And his execution is spot on. And he's smart and fun and a great guy. Lone Star Towboy, good to have you here, sir. Coming to us from Turkey, the land of Troy. That was I want to go to Turkey. There are so many things I want to see in Turkey. Anyway, Lone Star says, go-to zombie knife is my sub-hilt cold steel Marauder. Now, I would say a fine choice. That's one of the few cold steels I ever returned, and I'll tell you why. Because I missed the boat on getting the Marauder when it was hollow ground. Now it is not full flat, but now it's a flat grind, and you can feel the bulk. It is blade heavy, and that's cool for certain applications like killing zombies. But I just wanted the hollow grind, and because I knew it would lighten it up and put the balance closer to the front guard, which is what I just prefer and what I was looking forward to and what I wanted. So I returned that, and I also probably was feeling a little guilty about buying it at the time, and now I want it again since you've mentioned it. So see what you do. Yeah, you come on someone's show called Junkie, and then you flash that. Anyway, very nice choice. Also, it won't come out of your hand when you're extracting. Sean Clark, nice to have you here, Sean. How you doing, man? Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Well, good evening to you, Sean. Scott, howdy all. Scott, it's good to have you here. Molsect Soar, S35VN in titanium and carbon fiber. Thank you, sir. Soar or Soar? So let's say Soar. That sounds more exotic, and I think that's more what it is. Soar. That's beautiful. It is a beautiful knife. Excuse me. Right here. Got myself right on the tip of the finger. Starting to bleed. A little bit. Sorry. Should have held it together better. Need to be stoic, right? This is the Knife Junkie. It's sharp on the point and sharp on the edge, and it has a really nice profile, and it's great in hand, has awesome action. Thank you, Dave, not only for donating the knife, but for telling us what it's called, the Soar. Soar. Trent says, my go-to would be my Topps Wild Pig sticker. Yeah, that's an awesome one. I love that one. Is yours the black with the Kydex, or is it the tan and gray with the leather sheath? Autumn Wind, nice to have you here, Autumn Wind. Hello, Bob. Hello, all, he says. Hello to you, man, and your crossed swords. Northern Knives, good to have you here, Mike. I apologize for the shameless self-promotion, but the 3-dog knife Severance would do good on, would do some good work on zombies. Now that knife is so cool. By the way, we're going to be showing off another 3-dog knife here shortly that Gentleman Junkies stand to win next week. But the Severance is a really cool, large recurve tanto for outdoors, and it is awesome. AM, nice to see you here, AM. Honestly, I'd go with a beater like a cold steel katana machete for the zombie apocalypse, or a zombie apocalypse. That's a good choice. I love my cold steel machetes. Machetes, plural? I think I only have one, actually. I'm gonna have to change that, but I do have 2 really great Schrade machetes too. That one looks like a barong and one looks like a Pinuti, I guess. Very, very nice knives, especially for that. And they grip on the hand, and you wouldn't be too worried about them getting damaged. Then again, zombie apocalypse, who cares if it gets damaged? That adds cred. Trent says, I have about half the cash stuck back for a Bark River Highwayman 3. Can't wait. Ooh, wait. What is that? Is that a non-clip point Bowie with a slightly upswept blade and a full guard? Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, I have the CRKT Cuck. That would Cuck. That's funny. Ooh, that's funny. That would do pretty good job. It made short work of my last Christmas tree, the KUK. What does that look like? I don't know. Is that a big recurve? I'm thinking of the Camp series by CRKT, which are also very cool. They have sort of kukri-ish machete style blades. Lone Star says, I could slap a scope on a fixed blade for extra reach. That's pretty good. A sniper knife, to be sure. That's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? You could have a small knife with you, like something like this. Just put that scope on it, and it suddenly is a long-range knife. Alakai Torres, good to have you here, Alakai. Spyderco respect Bowie for mushing zombies. Yeah, that respect, that's a pretty knife, and that also is somewhat reminiscent of a Bagwell. Michael Elliott, a brand new patron. Thank you so much, Michael. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Good evening, Michael Elliott. Where's my Michael Elliott? Here it is. Michael Elliott designed this beauty, the Gunfighter, made by Gunfighter Knives. Look at that thing. This thing is awesome. I'm just going to show it off for a second. And there's his very cool maker's mark. It looks like a brand you might see on the side of a steer also to me. So this is his answer to the clinch pick. And I do like the clinch pick very much, but I like this very much more because it's got a place for your thumb, 2 places for your thumb, unlike the clinch pick. It is a little slightly larger. Has this forward. I love a forward ramp where you can bite into those jimps with your thumb and kind of pull back. I love that. I love the way that feels. And then those 2 edges, just nasty. And then of course that egg-shaped handle that just fits the hand so perfectly. So thank you, Michael, and thank you for becoming a gentleman junkie, and thank you for this knife. I love it. Jerry C says, hi, Bob. How the hell is everybody? How the hell are you, Jerry? Best night of the week, right here with fellow Blade crazies. Well, it's awesome to have you here, man, and thanks for the kind words. We love having you, and we love being here. I almost wasn't here. 26 hours without power. I'm going to say that some more just so I can get some pity. Oh, Bob. Oh, you got it so hard, Bob. Anthony Kitchen. Nice to have you here, Anthony. He says, hey, Bob, have you checked out the Poikilo knives? Thank you. Poikilo. I feel like I follow them on Instagram, but now I'm not sure. Poikilo. Better write that down because, 54 and everything. Let's see. Poikilo. Sorry for the anti-social. Oh, by the way, using this awesome pen, Twisby. I love these things. And a dark purple ink. I love the dark blue and black ink, or purple and black ink. So nice. Carino 1. How you doing, Carino 1? with the pipe. He gave me that awesome Sobrani tobacco. Thanks again for that. Greetings, Jim, Bob, and fellow junkies. YouTube deleted my comment after Marco's before the stream started. For Apocalypse, subhilt is a must. Could not agree with you more. Count me in on the Black Bear Classic Club. Awesome. Well, I would have this one with me, and maybe my my Cold Steel Black Bear Classic. This is by Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives. This beauty. Oh, I love this. This is my official dueling knife. I get slapped across the face with a glove. This is what I'm bringing. If it's only a knife fight. Have a Knife Day says, that is a large Kiko Masuda blade. Yeah, that thing is beautiful. The Condor. And I know that because, well, I know Kiko Masuda's work vaguely, and I could identify them in a lineup, but Have a Knife Day showed me a picture of it when we were at Blade Show, and it is, man, it's a showstopper. It's a beauty, and it's big, and it's nasty, and it's recurved, and it looks like a Kiko Masuda. It also looks like it's already been through a couple of zombies with this cool splash pattern he puts on it. Northern Knife says, how about a katana or wakizashi made by Rob Criswell? That's a good idea. He makes killer blades, sure to take out some zombies. He is the guy, was I think the first designer that APOC worked with when they started APOC Survival. And I think some of his knives are made, through CAS Iberia, which is an APOC is a company member of. Pete Davidson says, if we are talking about fantasy scenarios, I would want those extendy blade things the Predator has. Oh, I just watched that again the other night. Anytime it's on, I stop. Anytime, you know what's not on enough? It's just, randomly on cable, is Commando. What happened to Commando? I mean, I love that movie. Why don't they just put that on all the time too? Anyway, yeah, I agree. I like those, but too many jagged surfaces, in my opinion, on the Predator blades that come out of his forearms. I would rather have Wolverine blades, personally, sleek, a little shorter, and adamantium, and 3 of them. How cool. Anyway, Scott says, I don't want to dirty my Matsuda with zombie juice. Yeah, that's true. Zombie juice. I bet it stinks too, man. Michael Elliott, my zombie apocalypse blade would be the Gunfighter Customs L Decapitare Genunting. And if you look closely, you can see that right here, 2 of them right here in Michael's avatar there. And I had a chance to pick it up and hold it, and that thing is awesome. Yes, it is a very sharp double-edged blade that comes out the back, and then it's got a Genunting blade, but also a place up here that you can grip or use to strike other surfaces with that isn't sharp. And he has years of Pakiti Tersha training behind him, so that is he can handle it. I don't know, but with me and a blade pointing backwards, I have a feeling every once in a while I'd be just nicking myself with it. Nicking is the nice way of saying it. I'd be slashing my arteries with it, my femoral arteries probably. But yeah, I think that's a good choice. Ryan Walker says, hello, knife addicts. Ryan, hello to you, sir. I'd have to choose my Sword Golok. Katana, someone said, my Bark River Bravo 3 and CPM 3V is katana-like. I got a Tops El Chete a week ago, so that too. I want the Work Tough Gear Predator Hunter Bowie. Here it is. Yes, sir. The Predator Hunter Bowie in all of its glory. Now this one, I could swing around pretty easily. It is heavy. It does have a 12-inch blade. It's a big knife. But just eat your Wheaties and do a little kettlebelling, and you'll be able to hold on to anything. So this one would make a cool one. Plus, I love that pommel. You can come back here for serious chopping and lopping, or up here, or even the choil is super comfortable for close-up work, or whatever they say, for fine work. Northern Knives, RMJ makes no shortage of tools for serious damage as well. You're right. They have all manner of bludgeon, and then Razorback, morning. Good morning to you, sir. Good to have you here. Yeah, RMJ with all their tomahawks, their axes, and their war clubs, and oh man, and their long blades too. Michael Spahich. Good to have you here, man. Hello, Bobby says. Hello to you from the great state of Texas. Donald Fry, evening, everyone. Evening to you, Donald. Gotta admit, I'm woefully unprepared, really, for a zombie apocalypse. Guess I'd pick up my Ontario machete on the way to grab my Glock. Ontario machete is one of the best things out there. I like to tell this story, so you're going to hear it again. My Ontario machete, which I bought in the mid or early 80s when I was a wee pipsqueak from an Army Navy surplus store. That machete was always in our garage growing up, and this would be about 20 years ago at this point. It was right before I got married. I was at home visiting my parents, and a tree, a giant red oak, giant, it wasn't that giant, it was about this around, but a pretty big red oak fell across a path in my parents' woods. And my dad and I went back there with this dull axe to chop it, and it did not do it. He doesn't have a chainsaw. So I went and I got that machete, and it was the machete, that Ontario machete, U.S. Army surplus that went through that thing. You know, I kept a good edge on it, but went through that tree. It lickety split. So that is an awesome choice. Actually, should be probably my choice too, because it's tried and true like that. Mike says, can I show you that Razorback? Beautiful knife. Can you show that Razorback? Oh yeah, right here. Yes, this is a beautiful knife. I love this thing. I've seen him make this in a number of sort of configurations. For instance, Dave of OG Blade Reviews has one. His blade, I think, is slightly stouter and has it's more of a bayonet grind. It's got more of a thumb reach with a jimping. The jimping on this, imagine the jimping on this extending up the blade to about here. So, and then I've seen them shorter, and I don't know if I've seen them longer, but yeah, this thing is beautiful. Now, Dirk Pinkerton was inspired by the Victor blades. Hey, what's up, Paisan? How you doing, Victor? Wow, Dirk P knives are sweet. Got the Machine Wise Mojave, loving it. Oh, awesome. I just saw that in, whose feed did I just see that in today? Not yours, I don't think, Victor. But anyway, in the design of the Razorback, it was the Bill Bagwell Bowies and then the Conjar kind of together inspired him to make this knife. So a lot of cool influences going into this. And this is just a great knife, nice and sharp and light. And I have stashed this on my body before. This is a serious knife that I've put on, like, I don't know, every once in a while I get spooked, and I need a big knife like that on me. And yeah, that thing is awesome. Highly recommend it. We will decide. He wanted to know, what knife should I make for this 50,000 subscriber giveaway? And I said, I don't know. Let me take the temperature and we'll see. That is one that I'm strongly considering. Thanks for the Razorback recommendation, says Trent. I'll look it up. Only Dirks I've ever seen have been on this awesome show. Oh, thank you, Trent. I appreciate that. Well, this is the Razorback. So it is a really good one. Really, really good one. And also, by the way, the handle is the perfect size for reverse grip without much extra, and great for capping with the thumb. So this thing is just killer. Oh, and by the way, double-edged, if you didn't notice. Double-edged, nice, good to go. Mine is an L-Max, but he works in all different steels. Razorback says, I don't know how good stabbing would be with zombies, but it seems to be the go for taking, oh my gosh. Let me start from the top. I'm sorry, Razorback. I'm totally butchering your comment. Razorback says, I don't know how good stabbing would be with zombies, but it seems to be the go for taking other stuff down fast. Yes, from what I've heard. Slashing bone would bust your edge up quick too. Cold steel OSS or some sort of spear. Yeah, some sort of spear, like the cold steel. They have so many cool spears. And I've come in and out of ancient Greek fascination my whole adult life. And I've always come close to getting the spear and then just never have. And the spear, you're saying which one? Because they make so many of them. For me, it's always been the boar hunter spear with the things coming out. Anthony Kitchen says, Steel Eagle with the micro steel eagle, the knife with the knife. Yes, the tops and the Steel Eagle, that was the very first knife. That was the knife that launched tops. So I think that's a great idea. T-Kel Sapper, says Jacob Vargas. Jacob, good to have you here, man. And he is talking about this. And yeah, what a great knife. This has been an emotional support knife for me for weeks. Riding in my bag, I'll take it out, lock it up in the cabinet next to me, or just take it out and put it under a notebook. But this is just a great knife. I absolutely love this thing. Great in both grips too. Homie Omi, good to have you here, homie. Just got my second Highwayman 3. This one in a Moran handle. Okay, I need to know. I haven't been trolling around on my favorite Bark River Knives website, so I'm not sure if I know what the damn Highwayman is, but I think I need to have it because I keep hearing about it. Jim, if you got a spare minute, he's like, I don't have a spare minute. I'll look it up. Highwayman. I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget. Seth Lang, good to have you here, Seth. BRK Highwayman. Seth says, hey, y'all. Well, hello to you, sir. The zombies would be dispatched with my full-sized Mamushi and a bevy of my savage creature, including but not limited to the Malice, the Ritual, and the Kijo X. Seth, you must be the guy. I was trying to remember who recommended savage creature knives. Here, let me show you. Savage creature defense tool. Here's my, I put this down, my savage creature, and then here's my full-size Mamushi. Funny you should say that. Speak of the devil. Yeah, these are great knives too. These are up close and personal, so maybe the one on top more for the human element, and then the one down here for the zombies. So beautiful. Both of these guys do amazing work. Both these guys do amazing Japanese Tsukamaki style wraps. I love these knives. I like looking at them too. Super Beast, nice to have you here, Super Beast. He says #knife because he wants to win the giveaway knife tonight, the all-access giveaway knife, the Molsect Soar in S35VN, titanium, and carbon fiber. Beautiful knife, beautiful to look at, beautiful to hold, and probably to use. Haven't used it, though. Let me find the right sheath. I got a million sheaths in front of me right now, and this is definitely not one to trifle with. This is so extremely sharp and pointy. James Hart says, Razorback depends on what the blade is made from, plus the angle it was sharpened at. I sharpen my swords to 22-degree edge. My kukris are made of 5160 steel, very strong. Razorback. Are you talking about the Razorback I was just showing? Very, very thin and slicey. It's ooh, is that a Joe Watson? Very nice. Deep cut knife stuff, knife guy stuff. Good to have you here, man. Today, I'm sorry, got to have a kukri in there. Maybe the Zombie Tools Vakra. Zombie Tools makes really cool stuff. Here's my kukri, or one of my kukris. It's probably my favorite kukri, a gift from Dave of OG Blade Reviews. Not a gift that was supposed to be given away. He gave this actually to me. This was not adopted. So I appreciate this. This thing is so great. And this is made by the Smiths at Traditional Filipino Weapons. So this was made in the Philippines, but obviously it's a Nepalese style knife. This thing is awesome. It's big and it's light. I mean, it moves really nicely. So yeah, this would be a great one. And it's got a nice sheath, wooden sheath here, like most Filipino swords. Brainstorm. I almost called you Brian. Oh, Brian Storm. Okay, I was right the first time. Good to have you here, Brian. Got a Zombie Tools Felon Bowie. I think I know what that looks like for this exact situation. Or maybe my Cold Steel 3V Kukri. The whole zombie apocalypse trend in the 2010s is kind of what started my blade addiction. That's funny. It has crested, but it keeps going though. I mean, it does keep going, the zombie thing. Now, I'm not a huge consumer of zombie entertainment, though Dawn of the Dead has to be up there with some of my favorite movies from my youth. I love Dawn of the Dead, where they're stuck in the mall. The one from the 70s, where they're stuck in the mall. Such a great movie. Jeremy Nedro, nice to have you here, Jeremy. Oh, I was about to say this to one of my younger daughter the other day, but I didn't want to freak her out. But it was when hell is full, the dead start walking the earth, or something like that. There's a great line from the original Dawn of the Dead. When hell is full, the dead start walking the earth. Something like that. It always gave me the creeps, that line. Jeremy Nedro says, I finally made one. Well, it's good to have you here, Jeremy. I'm so tired of working 6 days a week. You're grinding, man. That's, sometimes that's what's called for. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And 6 days a week, I haven't done that in a while, but there was a period of time where that was me. And there were long days, and I was freelancing, and then suddenly it went away. And it's like, damn, I wish I was working 6 days a week again. Yeah. Working freelance can be difficult if you're not particularly enterprising, which I wasn't at the time. Now I feel like I could do it. James Hart says, yep, the kukri. Mine are all made from 5160 high carbon spring steel. I have one with a 15-inch long blade. Ooh, that sounds nice. That sounds nice. Let me show you this. This is not a kukri. It's a Taliban, but it's sort of kukri-esque in a way. I mean, it's got that deep recurve, but this is so light. It's so light, and you can recover really easily from swinging this thing. I just don't want to cut my screen, but oh man, I love this thing. Traditional Filipino weapons, Taliban. There are a couple of others that are similar, like the Lahot, I think it's called, has a similar blade. I think it's a little shorter, and it's got a slightly different hilt. I think I think there are a few others, but I just love the Filipino blades. I think they're the coolest, pretty much the coolest. Besides the Bowie, there's nothing like a Filipino sword with that deep curve. This is the one I grew up with. That was my dad's growing up. He got that at a flea market. It was another World War II bring back, and it would be, Dad, show us the sword. And he'd reach up on this top shelf and pull it down. And I remember when that thing was too heavy. Must have been very, very young or very, very weak. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here, Ben. Here, I'm just going to put this on the wall. Sorry, guys. Get to see my bald spot. Let's see. There we go. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here with us. Ben, the merch czar of Terzuola knives, or Terzuola design, who gave me this spectacular coin and another cool one at Blade Show that's upstairs on my dresser. Yeah. Roman Craig, nice to have you here, Roman. I just stumbled on my zombie knife a second ago. The Sniper Blade Works BDH British Death Head. Oof. I like Sniper Blade Works. I don't know if I know the British Death Head. Fixed blade with a brass handle. That sounds cool. Michael Elliott, you are welcome all around, Bob. Thank you for your kind review of our gunfighter. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, man. It's such a nice knife to carry too. I actually have it set up like this so that I grab it in reverse grip. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it like that, but for now, I actually really like tugging this thing out of my waistband in reverse grip. Sean Clark says, I would rock a Gununting and a Bobby Rains 2 Rainmaker. Yes, sir. Oh, what a fine choice on both accounts. Here's my Gununting. I love this thing. This is also a traditional Filipino weapons. Got to be careful. I have a painting that my grandfather painted over here like 100 years ago that I have to be careful of. Yes, it's the one with the woman's derriere. Look at that thing. And then this has maybe 3 inches of sharpened back edge. Now, if you get one from traditional Filipino weapons, it's about 6 inches of sharpened back. I got to oil this thing. Jeffrey Robichaud. Nice to have you here, Jeffrey. The SOG Super Bowie. Nice. Or my rusty old cold steel kukri machete. Yes. Yes, on both accounts. I have the SOG Super Bowie. I love that knife. I love the look of the Mac V SOG Bowie style blade with the double peak. Such a great knife. Reverend Jim Lander, nice to have you here, Reverend. Tough up, Bob. You've got an apocalypse to go through. By the way, hi. Are you saying from when I stabbed my finger and went, ow? Yeah. This is part of my apocalypse training. This is just the first small step in getting tough. Razorback says geometry and steel selection are very important for optimizing performance for sure. But even steels like 8670, SUP 9, ECT, M4, K390, you name it, all get very destroyed on solid bone when very, very quick. Very, very quickly. Yeah, I bet. I mean, it might be 1095 or something simple and tough. Mark Salva, nice to have you here, Mark. Zombie Slayer, APOC Wallace, smash it. Hello, all you junkies. Hello to you, sir. So if you're wondering what that is, that's this. Here. Yes, this is a great one. This one moves really well, double-edged. You can, if you stab with it, I mean, you're creating quite a wide wound channel, which is such a gross word, but you know what I mean. And yeah, light in hand, got a great pommel, great grip. It's comfortable. You could kind of use this thing all day, I feel. It's a little close. I mean, it's closer than the Gnunting, but yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Put this over here. I also have another one over there. I've got a bunch out here to show. Let me put these away as I greet Robert Strebin. Nice to have you here, sir. Hey, Bob, Jim, and all you junkies out there. Hello to you, Robert. Hope the world is treating you well. Victor Blade says, hey, Bob, even though it's not my wheelhouse, I think the cold steel Taipan in 3V would be great zombie repellent. It would be super tough piercer in 3V. You're right about that. That would be another great one. Now, that was a knife I wanted for, I don't know, 25 years and finally got last year. I got it in the San Mai, and man, that thing is so awesome. I really love it. But oddly enough, I got one. I ordered it from Amazon. I got one, and it had very wonky grinds. I sent it back. They sent me a replacement, and it was spot on. Awesome knife. Jeremy Nedro says, I would take a kukri made out of CPM 3V by Cold Steel for my zombie knife. Jeremy, that's a fine choice. We've gotten a lot of kukris and a lot of Cold Steels. Jay Demeter says, if I could, some Miller blades would work with their badass sheaths. Yeah, their sheaths are ridiculous. Their knives in general are ridiculous. I feel almost like they're too big for me. I mean, I say that, but I don't mean that, because being at their booth is like makes you giddy. And I picked up as much as I could. They had this cool double-edged sort of crusader looking sword. It was so cool. But everything's so chunky and big. Reverend Jim Lander says, but if you ever meet the Miller brothers, they're all giants, so it stands to reason. Reverend says, as for zombies, my brain chokes are always done with a 12 gauge. But, you know, it attracts attention, so that can be a problem in some situations. What about Raw Deal, says Pete Davidson. Yeah, Raw Deal got a raw deal. You never see that movie. Another often overlooked masterpiece, Arnold masterpiece. It's true, Raw Deal. You should not drink and bake. Great line from that movie. Ground Fox says, if I want a light axe-sized hammer with a... I want a light axe-sized hammer with a center spike for penetration and a bounce out. Oof. Groundfog, you're reminding me. I keep a roofing hammer at work just in case I need to do some roofing, but it's about this big. It's got a really, really solid hickory haft, nice big head with straight, almost straight nail pull on the back, but it's got that super knurled hammer pull, so it won't bounce off of helmets and stuff. Angry Tom says, I forgot what it's called, but how about the knife that has the CO2 cartridge? You could really spill some zombie guts with that one. Yeah, those things are crazy. Those Russian diving knife. Oh, okay, wait. Jim, thank you, Jim. Todd Carr says, evening, everyone. Evening to you, north of the border, Todd. Good to have you here with us. Jim put in the chat a few minutes, probably a little while ago at this point. I just noticed it. The quote I was trying to say from the original Dawn of the Dead, and it's, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. And a little note says, this line is spoken by the character Peter, who explains it as something his grandfather, a voodoo priest in Trinidad, used to say. Yeah. He was the helicopter pilot. He was the guy who piloted the helicopter, I believe. What a great movie that is. If you haven't seen it, don't worry, there's still time. Bobby Rains, nice to have you here, Bobby. Evening, everyone. Would a blade or some kind of percussion weapon be best for zombies? I think a blade would ultimately be best because you could use it for other things. But Bobby, in case you weren't here, someone said that your Rainmaker would be one of their two choices. So that's a feather in your cap for sure, man. Robert Strebin said, so now that Leatherman has fixed and folder blades out, do you think they will get out to Blade Show next year? Maybe with a wave 2. So does anyone have any opinions on those knives? I think they all look a little bit like other knives that exist. I mean, don't all knives, but I mean, like I don't know. I have to get myself used to it. But I like Leatherman. James Hart says, if you were up against more than 3 zombies, I'd prefer about a 6-foot-long quarterstaff. Great for staving in skulls. Yes, sir. It'd have to be a real heavy wood, right? Or you would want a real heavy wood for momentum, so that when you swing it around, or a giant hammer, like the hammer that Ajax the Great carries in the not so great movie Troy. Jeremy Nedro says, I just received my 15V Manix 2 lightweight today. Congratulations, man. That sounds awesome. I'm buying new scales, but I love the steel. I even like the lightweight scales, I gotta say. My zombie apocalypse knife, says Jacob Green. Jacob, pleasure having you here, sir. Would be my Swiss Army Tinker. I just love to remove a splinter and left untreated splinter. Oh my gosh. Okay, you're being very practical, and this makes sense. Yeah, exactly. If you have an infection during the zombie apocalypse, you're cooked. So yeah, that's a pretty good choice, and not the expected one. Jammin Parker, nice to have you here, Jammin. Even everyone just tuning in, Scallywag Tactical Gunner's Mate would be my choice. That is a cool short sword, we could call it. An American Father, nice to have you here, man. Good evening, fellow fiends. Hope all is well. Well, I've greeted a lot of people. I've shown off a lot of knives, and taken a number of suggestions. But there are 2 things I want to say. First is we have a lot more to go. We only have 50 entries for this knife. Apparently, there are 90 people watching. So we need a lot more people to put #knife in the comments, because I want to see the pool open up as much as possible. Put #knife in the comments or in the chat there, and you could win this Molsect Soar folder, given to us by Dave of OG Blade Reviews. Titanium frame lock, carbon fiber, S35VN, super build. I just cracked my voice there. And very comfortable, really, really nice knife, super smooth. Let's go for it. Put #knife in there, and we will give this away right after we do something else. And that something else is a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
So today in my front right pocket, I was carrying the knife I got at Blade Show last year, my fancy titanium expensive folder. Like, that's a category that I plan on filling every time I go to Blade Show. Now, my tastes have very much turned in terms of collecting towards the fixed blades again, which is kind of my my, what do you call it? Well, my start. When I was a little kid, that's what I loved the best. But I still love my awesome, cool, expensive titanium folders. And so this is what I got last year. Such a great knife. This is the Elishewitz George. So Alan Elishewitz and Les George, two awesome knife makers, two former Marines, two lovers of daggers. And the Eck knives came together to build this tip of the hat, or what do you call it, tribute to John Eck and the Eck dagger, commando dagger that came out during World War II and continued production through Vietnam, and is now owned by K-Bar. So this has the iconic handle, even including the 3 screws that were used to hold on the handle scales. In this case, decorative, except here on the pivot, and a beautiful dagger blade. It's not double sharpened, obviously, but beautiful dagger blade. This also came in a quote unquote drop point or bayonet. I can't remember what they called it, but it was still a spear point. It just had a different grind on it, if I'm remembering correctly. I love this knife. This is my one and only integral folder, and it's also my one and only flame anodized folder. Just a beauty all around. And this is a real pride of ownership knife for me. And it's also super duper smooth. So this is what I had on me for front right pocket. Oh, also that middle screw here acts as an over travel device. So nice double duty. Next up in my front same pocket was the Gateway Barlow from Jack Wolf Knives. I'm loving this thing. It's I feel guilt-free in not having this in a slip, though I've carried it kind of half the time in a slip. Beautiful rosewood covers. You have integrated steel liners integrated with the bolsters, the triple fluted bolsters, very beautiful. And then it has a 14C 28N full flat crowned clip point Barlow blade. Now, these cost a fraction of the regular Jack Wolf Knives slip joints at $70, and they're made by the same factory, same people. And I don't know who these are. He's contractually obligated not to say who makes his knives, but they are made by that company as well as the super premium fancy ones. Now, I have it on good word that a new one is coming. The dogleg jack the canine jack is being re-released. There's one on the way to me, and that's kind of less expensive than the other ones, but more expensive than this with slightly higher material. So he's starting to diversify, and I think that that's pretty cool. And that one is not pinned. This has pinned construction, unlike all the other Jack Wolf Knives slip joints, which you can take apart and have adjustable pivots. That next one coming out will have those features. But I really, really like this knife. It's great. I have used it to cut cardboard and food and not much else. But it's robust, feels great in hand, and has the blade stabilization of those Barlow bolsters. A Barlow has bolsters that extend 1/3 of the length of the handle, and that gives you a lot more lateral strength. In my waistband today, I just saw someone had Joe Watson, and now I'm forgetting who, but I had the Ken Brock Joe Watson Magni. So the Magni is a Joe Watson design, and Ken Brock made one. They're buddies, and he asked if he could make one, and that's this. And I absolutely love this. I've always wanted it, not always, but I've wanted a Joe Watson knife for a while. They are quite expensive and hard to get your hands on, and so are Brock knives, but I saw them at Blade Show, so I grabbed this at Blade Show. I love this thing. It's just the right combination of thin and light and long and recurved and pointy, and that swedge is so thin you could double edge it. if you wanted, and I do want, but I probably am not going to. I mean, I guess maybe I could send it to Ken and see if he would, but I'm just pleased as punch with this as is. Very comfortable handle and fits the hand great. I carry it in the 3 o'clock position in my waistband, and I can just draw it just like this in reverse grip. Or I can do the old cavalry draw and turn my hand around and have it just like this. But I am so in love with this knife. This is definitely one of my favorite purchases from Blade Show this year. Lastly, my emotional support knife, which for months and months on end has always been a big, gnarly knife. Well, today it was this, the Baby Banter from Civivi. I'm loving this little thing. I got to do a close-up video on this one and my other Civivi that they sent recently, the Gander fixed blade. But this thing is so cool. It's such a cool little knife, and it's got tremendous action. Look at that tiny little blade. It's like a 2-inch blade, but when you pull back the Axis style bar lock, it just drops in. In my experience, the smaller and lighter the blade, the less awesome the action is. This action is incredible. Cool features of this knife, the two-toned G10. So you have sort of a Indian red or dark red here with a top of textured G10. It's like a bark texture kind of, and bronzed. Let's see. I guess the only thing bronzed is the thumb stud. You have a reversible pocket clip, but one of the coolest features of this sucker is the tweezers and the toothpick. Toothpick works great. Tweezers are pretty good. They're not as good as the Swiss Army knife tweezers. The Victorinox tweezers are my favorite tweezers in the world if I had to rank them. And luckily, I don't have to rank tweezers. So, but I'm really, really digging this Baby Banter. Honestly, this is not a knife I would pick out on my own, but Civivi sent it to me, and I'm glad they did because it's a great micro knife. Great little knife, and I'm a big fan of it. Big fan of this little knife. All right, so this is what I had on me today. My ESK was the Baby Banter. It's actually got a full name. It's the Baby Banter 2 TG. I'm not sure what TG stands for, but the Baby Banter 2 TG was my ESK. The Ken Brock and Joe Watson Magni XL was my fixed blade. I had the beautiful Gateway Barlow from Jack Wolf Knives and the George Elishewitz Integral Ek knife. So what were you guys carrying? Let me know. Drop it down in the chat. Let's talk. Let's talk. Put this away. See that? Awesome. Awesome action. Great jimping on that little knife too. And this one has cool file work. It's not quite jimping to grip the hands, but it's there for indexing, and I guess it gives you a little bit of purchase. And a great sheath. Ken Brock, man, his stuff is awesome. His stuff is awesome. I saw a bunch of knives on his table I wanted. Split and Slices says, for anyone wanting to see a nice hoard/table of Dirk Pinkerton knives, go see one of Have a Knife Day's latest Blade Show interviews with DP on his channel. Excellent. Yes, there was a great bunch of knives on his table. Shot on Christmas. Nice to see a shot. I hope that's not true, but if it was, glad to see you're up and on the mend. If it's got to be a knife, my Work Tough Gear Lanzetta. Oh my God, I love that knife. Or Hellion Bowie. I love that one too. Otherwise, my Dawson 23-inch Magna Cut Katana. It could be that. I will allow it. But both of those are really awesome. I love Work Tough Gear, and I love their recurve Bowies. And both the Lanzetta and the whatchamacallit are recurve Bowies. I have one. I have two. Well, I guess maybe I have three technically, but here's another one of my Work Tough Gear Bowies. This would do great because I feel like this one could flex very easily from camp chores to lopping off zombie appendages and such. So I'll put that out for a little bit of eye candy. Groundfog says, I get the brain thing with zombies, but I think Achilles tendons and other soft structures are overlooked. Yeah, but you're right. Yes, I do too. But you still got to deal with them because they'll keep coming until you know. Ooh, I want the Mangana Steel Aurelia, so says Ghostkeeper. Ghostkeeper, nice to have you here, sir. Just so happens I have one in my pocket. Not to boast, but I love this thing. I like to brag. I like to boast. This is tough, says Rolando. Okay, Rolando's got a wall full of amazing swords and a collection full of amazing knives and large swords and large knives. And yeah, I bet this is tough for you, man. But you're gonna need to lock in, as the kids say, and let me know. Let me know. OG Blade Reviews says Bark River Highwayman 3 is out of production as far as I know. Secondary market? Oh, I don't know. 2 people today got a Highwayman, so I was thinking maybe they were just out. Be right back, says Rolando. All right, man. Ghostkeeper, I want the Mangana Steel Aurelia so bad, but emergency vet visit almost 1,000. Won't be getting it now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's awful, but you got to take care of the ones you love first. So Jacob Vargas, Savage Creature Blades, thumbs up indeed. And also Ghostkeeper, I have a feeling he's going to be making more. I think it's been a very popular knife for him. Shot on Christmas says, do we discriminate against tomahawks here? Absolutely not. RMJ Kestrel Feather, hell yeah. Or my Roosh, my Elmer Roosh. This would make a great, this is an Elmer Roosh Northeast Woodland tomahawk. This thing would make a really great zombie tool. Look at that long. So yeah, no, we do not discriminate. We love tomahawks here. I have several within reach, to include the back ripper, which is better probably on alive humans. Anyway, Terminator Joe says, sorry I'm late. Terminator, great to have you here, sir. Funny because I made 2 videos about the topic, top 13 folding and fixed blades. Awesome. I got to check that out. This was inspired by, who was it? Maybe The Last Huntsman was showing off his First Strike by Very Good Knife Company. And he said that this would be one of his go-to knives in such a case. And I like this one a lot. This might be on my belt, but I want something with a little more reach. Dwayne Letterman, nice to have you here, Dwayne. Evening, Bob, Jim, and everyone. Dwayne, it's a pleasure, sir. Karen Slavin, nice to have you here, Karen. I'm a little late to the party. Evening all, #knife. All right, we're coming up close. #knife is referring to this knife. And we're going to give this away in a minute and a half. A minute and a half. I'm not going to get on bended knee and beg you to win the knife. Craig Vincent says, I have several cold steel Bushmen that make great spears when mounted on rake handles. Oh, awesome. I call them my cold steel Home Depot Zom Defense collabs. Oh, that's awesome. A lot of leaf raking in the fall. I grew up doing it. We had tons of trees where I grew up, so I was always raking leaves in the fall. I guess if my mom or dad heard me, they'd probably chuckle. You were always trying to get out of that. And then now that I'm my own homeowner, yeah, I actually love raking leaves now, and that is a fantastic idea. I've never had a Bushman, but it'd be cool to have, because you never know what happens when you're raking leaves. Okay, let's see if in the next minute and a half we can get, let's say 24 more people to put #knife in the comments. Super B says, I will use my Damascus steel katana. Oof. So classy and deadly. Mike, nice to have you here, Mike. When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. You're welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Strings, what's up, Captain Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies? Strings, it's great to have you here with us, man. Always a pleasure. For zombies, I'd use my own version of the Woodman's Pal. That's a cool knife, the Woodman's Pal. Kenneth Hack, nice to have you here, man. double-edged with the bill hook more adapted to penetration. Ooh, that sounds. I always thought the Woodsman's Pal was really cool. Never had one. I've never owned one, but I always thought they were cool. And it's sharp kind of on the inside part of the bill hook too, right? Shot on Christmas says, I really like the look of the RMJ Wyvern. Oh, that's what I was thinking of, the Wyvern, with the long curved blade. But it's never in stock. The Wyvern looks like a Filipino sword you just showed off. Yeah, it does. It does. It has a lot of the same kind of dips down, but still has that curve. Strings. My zombie apocalypse knife would be my Cold Steel Gurkha Kukri Plus in A2. So the plus is with the extra finger guard thing there. Or my Falkniven Modern Bowie in COS. Either would suffice. Speaking of strings and speaking of Bowies, I got to show it. Why not? I love this sucker. This is one that I traded with strings to get, and I love this thing. This is the Boker Arbolito Bowie made in Argentina. It has such a nice feel to it. Really sticks in the hand with that awesome texturing. What a great knife. Tops Genunting, says Rolando Escotada. Now, Rolando, that Genunting is big and heavy. I haven't seen your whole video of you talking about it, but I've seen you flowing with it, and you can do a great job with that. For me, I picked that up at the Topps booth, and it was a little heavy. It was a little heavy for me. I think that I would do better with this, with my traditional Filipino weapons Genunting, because I'm not as strong as you are. I'd see you handling that knife with ease, but it is a beauty. And the guy who designed that, I've been following him a long time, and I know he's a combatives instructor and a Kali instructor, and now I can't think of his screen name. But Rolando would also use the Buck 110 on his belt for EDC, I would imagine, and the Bobby Rains Rainmaker. Hell's Bells, yes. No, Hell's Bells is something else. Todd Carr says, basically, only one choice with zombies. Pieces of meat on a stick and a thread mill for unlimited power that runs an electric fence around the property and just keeps expanding. Ooh. I like it when your wheels are spinning, sir. You've thought about this. Yeah, so it's spiraling out and creating a fence line, and at the same time just kind of mulching up the zombies that get in the way. Pete Davidson says, if I'm not at home when the apocalypse happens, I will most likely have my 10-inch Sabatier chef's knife with me. That sounds more than adequate. It has a sweet Kydex sheath with matching paring knife piggybacked on it. Piggyback to it. That's very cool. I like that. Let's see, if I had to count on what's in my car, I'd have two hammers. I'd have a ball peen hammer and a regular claw hammer. I'd have a Schrade tomahawk with a spike. I'd have the Cold Steel, what's that? GI Tonto, and a paring knife and a roach belly, and an off-grid. So I'd have a lot, but for reach, I guess I would have to go with the and a baseball bat. I have a Louisville Slugger in my car too. Nice and light, but long and wicked hickory. Jerry C says, for sure, one of my dream knives are the Almar Sog Bowie. Yes, definitely. Especially that one like a gun blue finish. Just an awesome knife and works of art. Yeah, I want an old school Almar. I definitely would. It could be a folder. It could be a fixed blade. Does not matter. But I was aware of Almar long before like any other knife maker that I'm into these days. I mean, we're talking like the 80s. I don't know how I knew, but they came in some catalog. You could buy expensive fixed blade Almar Sear knives, and I don't remember where I was seeing that as a kid, because obviously there's no internet. G-Ball Vision, nice to have you here, G-Ball. What's happening, everyone? Good to see you all. Well, what's happening is in 1 minute. I know I keep saying a minute and a half. Now I'm looking at the time. It's when it says 16, I will go for it. And that's in 55 seconds. G-Ball Vision, without too much thought, I would grab my Hungless 2. Yes, Hungless is a great knife, and that full flat ground blade, it shears through a lot. Will B, nice to have you here, Will. Hey, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Had to put the twins to bed. Sleep tight, twins. I keep a Tops Dart in my Jeep. That's a cool looking one with the recurve and the drop point. But I think my TCal Sapper or Microtech Arbiter would be at the top of my list. Arbiter. I want that knife so badly. I love that knife. What was I going to show? I was going to do something. Anyway, we got this. We're going to give this away in 10 seconds. Trent Costello. I'm thinking a cold steel Taipan would be the pick of blades I don't own, but probably zombie certified. Most definitely zombie certified. A rock hammer would be perfect. Ooh, yeah, because you got a spike on one side and the hammer pull on the other, and it's that flat spike. My 18-inch Kalish Expedition Cleaver. Oh my God, says Terminator Joe. G-Ball. Oh, drywall hammers are nasty too. Ooh, I like the roofing hammers for the knurling. Bob, the Wakizashi on your wall would be great. Yes, but my wife gets that. She has claimed that in a zombie apocalypse, that's hers. But yes, it would be great, no doubt. Todd Carr says cold steel Warhammer would be a good option. I got one right here. Because who doesn't keep a Warhammer under their desk? Now, this is an old one. I don't know if they're remaking them, but the last time they were making them, they had these really cool grooves, cross grooves carved in the hammer pole, which is what I would prefer. This is smooth enough that it would glance off. If, say, it had a helmet on for whatever reason, this would slip off. But yeah, the Warhammer, I love a Warhammer in all of its many incarnations. Dogo Argentino, EDC, good to have you here, sir. Kukri machete all day. Yes, I think Kukri has probably been the most prevalent choice here. Angry Tom's Hatnick Store says, I'll just show them a picture, a picture of my ex. On that note, that's funny, man. I believe in Sasquatch. On that note, let's go to give this away. We're giving away the Molsect Soar, an S35 VN, titanium and carbon fiber modern folder. Beautiful frame lock. Never you mind that I'm doing it with my left hand here. So we're going to be giving this away. This was a gift from OG Blade Reviews. Let me show you what else comes in the package. So you get a box, Molsect, in case you were wondering the name, Molsect. Soar. And let's see. Hang on. Okay. In the box comes this leatherette pouch that has some lube in there. It's got some little literature. It's got a cloth for wiping it down. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, and a pin. It's got a pin in there too for your lapel next to your American flag pin, of course. All right. Let us do this, Jim. How many people we have? 76 entries. That's a pretty solid and respectable showing. All right, let's do this in 3, 2, and 1. Here it goes. Here it goes. This is the funny thing. You never know when it's going to stop, and it'll do a tease. It'll look like it's going to stop on someone, and then it'll keep going. Mike is the winner. Mike, congratulations, sir. This is yours now, and I am just holding it in my hand, but this now belongs officially to you. So please, Mike, send an email. Email me your address at TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. Junkie with an IE, as you see right here. The TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. Thank you. That is where I will look, and I will get this out tomorrow. If you can do it, if you can get your address to me tonight, I will get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. The Molsect Soar is no longer. I am just merely the steward. I'm putting it back in here. I will swab it with alcohol before I send it. Get my cooties off of it. We had Mike of Northern Knives in the chat before. Let's see, OG Blade Reviews says, Today's carry, ESK Bark River pig sticker. That thing is, oh, with the ivory micarta too. That thing is beautiful. That's funny, Dave, because when I think of that knife, I think of it with the ivory micarta. And mosaic pins. The Concept Bison. Why have I not gotten a Bison yet? What is my problem? What is my major malfunction? Orbital Knives Fornax. The Microtech Dirac Delta OTF, beautiful. Cold Steel Carve, also a little saxy, right? It's like kind of a sax. DC Blades Sting and Pinkerton Framelock Ferrule. Ooh, pardon me. Two great, beautiful knives. They seem to go together. Nice carry, as always, from Dave. Let's show what the Gentleman Junkie Knife giveaway knife is. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I forgot the Winkler R&D full-size tomahawk. That thing. What a beauty. What a beauty that thing is. And I just love the shape of the handle too. I was thinking of the blade first, but man, that handle is so cool. So we're giving this away. This is so next week, Gentleman Junkies will be in the running for this 3-Dog Knife Mac. 3-Dog Knife is the in-house custom knife brand from Northern Knives up in Anchorage, Alaska. This thing is clean and pretty. This thing is so nice. So the story goes like this. Mike sent one with with a stonewash blade and a natural canvas micarta a while ago, and he said, keep this or give it away. And I was like, I think I'm going to keep it. And then he said, fine, I'll send you another one to give away. So this is what he sent. And man, I love it with the black blade. It's so beautiful. So MAC stands for multiple animal knife or multi-animal knife. Being up in Alaska, hunting comes up now and again. So this is what you're going to skin them with or take care of them with, break them down with, I guess. M390 blade steel, black canvas micarta, and a beautiful leather sheath. This sheath is just awesome. Fits really nicely in there. And then this is the birth card, but it's a dog tag. So it has the stats you want. 3-Dog Knife, let's see if I can get it. MAK, black Cerakote, M390, black micarta, born on or made on June 12th of 2025 in Anchorage, Alaska. So such a generous gift, and man, from Mike, so I can't wait to pass along this generous gift to you generous people who are Gentleman Junkies. I really, really appreciate it. Can't wait to give that thing away because it's tempting to have a collection of MAKs. All right. Jay Korskadden, nice to have you here, sir. Knife Junkie, what would you use? I ask because if a zombie apocalypse, I'm heading to your house. Well, I think right now, I think it's the Gununting. I think just because of how it captures stuff you want to cut in this curved area. And if I've practiced a lot with it, and it moves really nicely, and you can thrust with it without doing much to alter your hand or your wrist. And it's double edged at the tip, so you can, if you have to teach someone a lesson, you can just swing it around and just nick them like that across the cheek, and then you can continue and chop, but you can just go and just flick. So I mean, there's a lot I like about this. It's got a beautiful pommel. I love the hilt of this thing. Gorgeous Camegon wood, and actually it's pretty light for Camegon on this side, but I guess it's a grain or something, or a chunk of it. Usually when I think of Camegon, I think of the dark wood. Very nice fit in my medium-sized hand. So yeah, I guess it might be this. Yes. And also really nice, tough, high carbon steel that I could sharpen with some ease. Fred Verbemeyer says, my World War I Bolo knife still feels good in my hand. It swings fast and hits hard. Hell yeah. And that influence of that design was obviously also Philippines, from the American occupation there. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, today I have my Tempest Downdraft. I love those KC knives. He's such a great dude. And this Benchmade I won a couple of weeks ago. Awesome, 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 awesome. Well, I'm so glad you're liking it. Did you end up putting the clip on it, or do you keep it in a slip? I'm just curious. Will B was carrying his Microtech Amphibian, the Manganas Kaimano, Spyderco Military 2 in Crew Carta. So Crewwear and Micarta. Microtech Hera 2, TKL Knives Guardian, Olight Baton, and the Baton 3, and the Arkfeld Pro, and Karis Bolt V2. Well, I was just mentioning this knife you could win if, by the way, excellent, excellent choice, Will be, as always, a cavalcade of sophisticated and beautiful knives. But you may remember I was just talking about this knife. I failed to mention that the only way you can win this is if you go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and sign up to be a gentleman junkie. If you're already a gentleman junkie like Will be and several others here, you're already, in the hopper to win this knife. But something else you'll see when you join the Knife Junkie on Instagram is Knife notes. And these are so cool. Jim's been putting these together, and here's this week's knife notes. Check that out. Oldest kitchen knives can teach today's collectors. So every time knife notes go up, it's a new subject, and it's kind of a historical breakdown. Like he did Bowie's, he did Kukri's. This, look at this. It's so cool. Jim's the hardest working man in production, and I really, really appreciate it. But this is definitely value added when you become a patron at any level. And also, when you become a patron at any level, you get to see interview extras. So people like, say, Rolando Escotada, who I've had on the show, or Dave of OG Blade Reviews, who I've had on the show, and many others. Every time I do an interview, I get a little bit extra after we're done, and that goes up. And that's just for patrons, and it's awesome. And we let our hair down. This is the part of the interview where we talk real personal. No, I'm just kidding. We don't really, but there's always more questions, and there's always more stuff I want to know. And yeah, sometimes the stuff that maybe isn't as good for or as suitable for the broader general audience, those topics get covered. Sometimes it's stuff like, I don't know. Anyone ever use your knife in combat? What do you hear about it? That kind of thing. So Knife Notes, a regular feature on Patreon. So be sure to check us out. Join us if you have the druthers or the extra resources, and enjoy everything we have to offer, including a regular installment of Knife Notes. G-Ball Vision, my EDC for today is the Quiet Carry Shallows in Vanex. Quiet Carry, I'm very interested in them. Ketuo Griffin 3, the Reich Tissot 2, so that tells time also, and the Nightcore Tinai or Tinny 3. Very cool. Yeah, Quiet Carry, as I was saying, they're interesting to me, and they're quiet kind of in the industry. I mean, they're not quiet in that everyone knows them and respects them, and a lot of our trusted voices carry and love them, but you don't hear much from them. And I think that's kind of cool. James Hart says, my Mora 511 to cut the pork shoulder steak I had for supper. Hell yeah. That 511, that's the plastic handled one, right? The red one, it's got like a red handle. Lone Star Dowboy says, carry of the day, Cold Steel Archangel Bally Song, 3.08 ounces with latch delete. Very cool. Amazing ratio for 4.5-inch blade. Yeah. And the 4.5, that's sort of the traditional size, right? For a Bally Song, they tend towards the large blade size. Chad Dameron, nice to have you here, Chad. Quick check-in, saw topic, LOL, Glock 19 and Spartan Blades. Glock 19 and Spartan Blades, zombie ain't got a chance. No kidding, New Belgium. Enjoy that, New Belgium. Yeah, Glock 19 does draw a lot of attention, but you definitely want to have a firearm option in this scenario. I think I would go for the shotgun type. Wait, what is that? What is that? What is that one that everyone's showing off lately? That's so cool. It's like a short. I think it's made by who the hell makes that? All right, someone help me. Someone help me. It's a 12 gauge. It's short and it has shock in the name, and I can't remember who makes it now. Pete Davidson's today's main carry is a Victorinox serrated round tip knife that I ground, into an Elvia style fruit knife with serrations on the back. That sounds cool, man. That sounds cool. Adrian Fighter 35 says today's carry was the Cold Steel Espada Large, the AUS 10A G10 handle version. Gotcha. That's awesome. I love that too. I like the G10. I like the full dress. Just give me a Cold Steel Espada. The Magni XL, love that knife, says Jacob Vargas. Jacob's got fine taste. He's talking about this. Thank you, sir. I'd say thank you. It's not like I designed it or made it, but yeah, love that. This is such a great knife. Pete Davidson says Japanese style wrap and Kydex pocket sheath. Light and handy. Just watch your fingers. Yeah, no kidding. Light, right, because it's a Victorinox. They're very light. Craig Vincent says Cold Steel 3V AD10 Limited. Is that, sorry, having a brain lock. Is that with the titanium handle? Or is it because it's 3V that it's limited? XL Voyager Tonto serrated. Large Luzon. Oh man, okay. Before I continue, I have the large Luzon. It's in the kitchen. It goes out for the big box breakdowns, and I've done so much work with that knife. I gotta say, you might sneeze or look down your nose at 8CR13 MOV, but I gotta say, the way Cold Steel heat treats it, it's a great steel, and it touches up so easily. Love my large Luzon. Range Boss, FM1, Swift 3, that FM1 is cool too. Swift 3, serrated tough light, and my new Spectre Hawkbill. What is this? Would have been all Cold Steel today, except for the one RR Stoneworks peanut, or Rough Rider Stoneworks peanut. Wait, Spectre Hawkbill. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Thin, fancy for Cold Steel. Svelte Hawkbill knife, and it also comes in a drop point, and it's one of the newer ones. Yes, very nice. Mars Capone, making me hungry, Mars. Good to have you here, sir. Favorite would be Defiant 7 M320, I guess. Yes, I love the Defiant 7 knives, and that M320. That's the trench knife with the forward-facing guard. Perfect for the thumb, jimped. Those guys, I need to invite them on the show. The Defiant 7. They're like young dudes, and they are machining the coolest knives in collaboration with Les George. Jeremy Nedrow says today's carry was the 15V PM3 Paramilitary 3 and the Manix 2XL. I love the 2XL. Wish I never got rid of it. It's like a pocket barong. Love that thing. Victor Blade says, I'm carrying my new Mojave today with the new Jack Wolf Knives Gateway in green micarta. How do you like it, Victor? I'm loving mine. Besides the blade steel, they are very similar to Rosecraft. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. A little bit. I'd say the fit and finish is a little better on this. I only have about 4 or 5 Rose, maybe 3. No, I gave one away. It doesn't matter. I've got some, and the fit and finish on all the Rosecrafts I've had have been awesome, except for my favorite, which is the French. What is that called? The French. sway back or something, which had a appalling fit and finish, but I still love that knife. But I think that's definitely a lemon, or definitely just a fluke, because every other one I've seen has been awesome. But yeah, I can see what you mean. Ginger Fisher 75 says, evening all, changed my time zones, can't remember when folks are live. Hashtag knife. Ginger Fisher, it's great to have you here. You missed the giveaway, but it's great to have you here nonetheless. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we go live here. Matt Maurer, nice to have you here, sir. Maurer. Does that mean wall in German, like outdoor wall? Maurer is outdoor wall. Sorry. Anyway, Matt, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Benchmade Bug Out Work Sharp Edition. Ooh, nice. What makes it a Work Sharp Edition? Like, what did they do different? Trent Costello says, I see the handle of something cool on your desk. Looks like maybe a Cold Steel Laredo. I have the Cold Steel Natchez. Is it the Natchez? I think this is what you were seeing. Yeah. Oh, I love this thing. Musso style Bowie. No, I do not have. Oh, 5-door. Nice to have you here, sir. He's carrying the Stretch 2XL and the GEC 34 today. He's got, I love your collection, man. Just from what I see on Instagram. I have the one with the 4034 stainless steel. I do not have the 3V. It'd be nice to have the 3V, but I don't need that. I don't need that steel for this, for my purposes. Strings says today's carry, the RRR Barlow in brown micarta. Oh, so that's Rough Rider Reserve Barlow in brown micarta. The Leatherman Signal and Bark River Upswept Skinner. Oh, that sounds nice. In brown micarta. I don't know the Signal, though. I'm curious. Is that a knife or is that a multi-tool? By the way, if you want to get behind the wheel of a Natchez Bowie and you don't want to spend 3V money, this is pretty affordable. The only regret I have, and it's not a regret because I didn't do it, I guess, but I do wish they would just return to leather for some things, like the Laredo Bowie and the Natchez Bowie. I just really wish this were a leather sheath. That said, for a Kydex-y style or plastic sheath, this is fine. And actually, the flare around the guard works well if you just want to stick it in your belt and you don't want it to slip through. This stops it pretty nicely. But my preference would definitely be the old school leather sheaths. My Laredo, which is upstairs in my closet, I got that one a long time ago, so it has that tan leather sheath. Beautiful. Jacob Vargas says, my EDC today was my new TKL worn EDC. Very nice. And TKL DP1. I got my DP1 right here. Love this thing. Definitely needed a little fob on it, but now it's totally usable with the fob. Without it, I found it a little too small. I mean, that's not a criticism. It's just a preference. But with that fob on there, it really stays in the hand nicely. And actually, while I have it out, let me show you this with the Knives by Nuge Primitive Wicket. So Tom Nugent of Knives by Nuge is the guy who did the wrap on the DP1. For this limited edition, I think they made 20 of them. And I love it, love it, love it. Oh, yes, thank you. We have a new TKL discount code. So if anyone used the old one, you still got the discount, but I didn't get the commission. So I had to get in touch. And I guess the old one expired. It used to be Bob DeMarco, but now it's the More Makes Sense Knife Junkie. So if you like TKL knives, which a lot of us here do, and you want to purchase one, go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/TKL and then just put in as the coupon code Knife Junkie. I get a little bump, he gets a sale, and you get 10% off. And that's pretty nice. That's a nice amount on a $250, $300 knife, something like that, to get $30 off. It's a pretty nice deal. So do that. do that. I highly recommend it. And I also really do recommend this DP1. It's awesome. It's it's such a great little knife. I use the word awesome all the time. And cool. I'm aware of it. Autumn Wind says carrying the Custom Knife Factory. Sorry, it took me a second to remember. Custom Knife Factory Evo 3.0. That sounds awesome. I love that Evo design. That's by sorry, I'm not even going to talk if I can't remember. And the Spyderco Chaparral Birchwood today. Ooh, nice. That Chaparral, they've done so much in terms of special editions of that knife. I love how cool how Spyderco knows how to get to collectors. You know, they know people collect the Chaparral. They put out a million versions of it. They know people collect the PM2. They put out a million versions of it. I love it. Mars Capone says, Kestrel feather is awesome. So light and fast, deadly sharp. That's so cool. I want an RMJ. I want an RMJ. I mean, I want a lot, and it makes me sound spoiled and materialistic, but let me just say, I want an RMJ. I do. Trent Costello says, check the gun broker for Highwayman 3. Oh, I forgot all about the gun broker. People have told me that before, and I need to go check them out. Gun broker. Sorry for the antisocial writing during the stream. Ginger Fisher says, my zombie knife is my clan Bowie. What's that? Clan Bowie. Like, my first initial impression is that it is a thin line between Sachs and Bowie, you know? So I'm imagining it having a rather flat edge and having a sort of a break back instead of a clip. Adrian Fighter 35 says, on the topic of zombie movies, in my opinion, Day of the Dead is the best zombie movie ever. Tom Savini uses pig guts for some of the gore scenes. Oof. And it has Bub and Captain Rhodes choke on them. I know I've seen Day of the Dead, and I know I've seen Night of the Living Dead, which is also a classic, though. I understand if it's not your game, but to me, it's still Dawn of the Dead. And definitely not the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Gary Bucco, how you doing, sir? I think a Roman Gladius would do a good job in Zombieland. Hell yeah. I got one over there. Also made by Traditional Filipino Weapons, who made the Ganunting. It's awesome. You're right. The only thing I would, there's one thing I would do if I were to actually have to press that into duty. And it had, anyway, it has a round handle. Perfectly round handle. I would flatten out the sides of the handle. I would take it to a grinder and flatten out the sides so that it doesn't turn in the hand. But other than that, it is awesome. Awesome knife. Sword. Karen Slavin says, I have many zombie designated killers from 25-inch machetes to 15-inch Bowies, all the way down to 9-inch throwing knives. Ooh, I like the cut of your jib, Karen. 15-inch Bowie knife. That's almost like a gross messer. Let's see. Matt Lamana says, today's EDC, T-Kel Combatant. Love that knife. Primitive Bear, Minuteman. I've been digging Primitive Knife, or Primitive Bear, just from his Instagram feed. The Rib Splitter Draug, the Off-Grid Stinger XL, and the Nude Primitive Wicket. So I have all of these knives except for the Primitive Bear, which means you and I have similar taste, and it means I should probably get a Primitive Bear. Ed says, my zombie knife is the Ontario SP1 combat knife. Those are cool. I need more of the SPs. I have the SP10. I like that SP1. It's a little bit double-edged at the top. Am I right about that? Declaration of Cheeto Pendants. Good to have you here, Cheeto. Sup, Bob and gang. Carried a Spyderco Shaman and Bastinelli Pika. Oh, the Pika. I missed the Pika. Gregory Hall. Nice to have you here, Gregory. Essie Darien for the win. Which one's the Darien? Essie Darien. Lady Picture Show 72. Good to have you here, Picture Show. Thanks for showing the gross motor gear. Sick, sick, sick looking blades. After one now. I'll show it again. Where is it? Here it is. Yes. It is. And I like the small one too, the mini. I tend to carry the mini more than the full size. But what a great knife. Here, I'll put it up with the Manuki side up. Let's see. Ed says, I want to get a cold steel sword or something, though, as The Walking Dead has shown us you want to keep a good distance from them. Ed, I have a good suggestion. And I keep one of these by the front door. The sword cane by Cold Steel, that's a, what is it? What do they call it? The heavy duty sword cane. And it's got an awesome sword inside of it. And it's got a, just a regular kind of crooked handle. It's great. And when you pull it out of the sheath, which is the cane itself, you have a hell of a steel pipe you can hit something with too. So you can kind of do a little Sinawali or something like that with that. Just double fisting is what I'm getting. 1931 Leatherworks. Hello, everyone. Hello to you, sir, man. Sir, man. Sir, man. I hope you're doing well. Wesley Jones. Hope you're doing well. Grabbing my Work Tough Gear Hellion Zeke Manacho design. Oh, yes, sir. That is the recurve, right? The Hellion recurve Bowie. Ray Herman, how you doing, Ray? Cold Steel Kukri machete. Yes, yes. And there's something to be said about the machete in terms of you're swinging all day long. The machete is lighter, it's thinner, it's easier to recover after a full-fledged swing. You might want that just to keep going. Chef, good to have you here, Chef Rocky C. Amazing as usual, my friend. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mars Cup, you're going to have a big butcher knife, one of those big curved butcher knives, I'm betting. Mars Capone says, every zombie I stab always tries to tell me they're not a zombie. It's odd. Yikes. Be careful of that. It's not, it's me. It's me. Scott says, bragging here, I have a huge Almar collection. Oof. But none of the new stuff. Even better. That's so awesome. The Warrior is knife prawn in. Wait. The Warrior is knife prawn, in my humble opinion. I'm pretty sure you meant to say something else, but the Warrior is. I'm thinking that's your favorite one of all of those. But you have a huge collection of old Almar knives. Yes, I'm seething with envy. Not envy, jealousy. Bob Smith, what's up, Bob? How you doing? And what's up, Bob? Good topic. I need to upgrade. Start with a cheap machete, just a good one. Just make sure it's solid and the handles aren't going to fall off. But start with a good machete and make sure it's real sharp, and maybe even do a twine wrap around the handle for extra gription, because some machetes have smooth handles and they get sweaty, or other sort of liquids get under there. If you're slaying zombies, you might want something to grip onto. So start the upgrade slow. You don't want to be crazy about it. And start with a machete. I recommend the Ontario. Shot on Christmas says, I really like the prize knife. I may have to buy one. Oh yeah, go to Northern Knives and Three Dog Knife. It is really, really nice. Really nice. I got to say, I love mine, but this black is fetching too. I think it's beautiful. Shot on Christmas says, my EDC is the Tops Desert Nomad. I always wanted one of those. It looks like such a classic combat knife. Never got one. Or I guess I should never say never, but I missed the rest of it. Pete Davidson, leave the cooties. It adds value. Who wouldn't want a junkie cooties sore? A junkie cooties sore. Exactly. Oh, Pete, you have a way with words, man. G-Ball Vision says, I didn't know that some carry for needs so much. Oh, wait. IDK, I don't know. I don't know that some carry for need so much more for a want. Yes, exactly. I agree. There's a lot of want here, very little need. I'm sure I could get away with just this, unless there's no more room in hell and the dead walk the earth. Have a Knife Day says, well, there's always double fisting RMJ Snuggles brass knuckles. Yeah. And the Snuggles Warhammer that they make is pretty cool too. I have one in brass and one in aluminum that could wreck some zombie noggins. Wow. Wow. Brass. I love brass. These are my only brass knuckles. Mike says, email sent. Thank you for the giveaway. My pleasure, Mike. Thanks for joining, and thanks for entering in. I will have that off to you tomorrow. James Hart says, I forgot about my United Cutlery Combat Commander Gladiator sword, a modern take on the Gladius. Would be good for shortening zombies by a head. Yes, indeed. United Cutlery. I had a couple of sweet United Cutleries back in the day. I gave them to my cousin, and I love him, but I regret giving them away. Shot on Christmas says, I'm already a firearms junkie. I'm not sure how high level a knife junkie I can be. LOL, I can fill up a dining room table, but I need to control myself. It's really addictive. No kidding, man. It really is. And I'm lucky that I have avoided the gun junkie so far. I mean, I have most bases covered. I don't have a long range rifle, but I have most. Yes, thank you, Knife Lover 69. The Mossberg Shockwave. Thank you. I couldn't think. I knew it was Mossberg, but I couldn't think of the name Mossberg, and I knew Shock was in it. But thank you. That thing is cool. I would love to have one of those. I'm just saying, I would love to have one of those. Shockwave, so cool. Fit it under my. I have to get a trench coat. Leon Natoyer, nice to have you here, Leon. Hi, everyone, he says. Hello to you, sir, man. Sir, man, again. I hope you're doing well. Bob Smith says, today's carry, Fox Core LMAX PVD. I own a bunch of Italian blades, but this was my first international purchase. Got it before it was available in America. Not good for zombies, but looks nice. Yeah, no kidding. That's the Terzawola, right? Bob Smith says, a Cold Steel SRK, good budget blade, but not good for zombies. I got to upgrade. It'll do until you get there, but I mean, you know, you're going to be getting close, let's just say. James Moore, nice to have you here, James. Good to see that face. Hello, everyone. Carrie is my Gareth Bull production. Zyro Riot manufacturer. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Sorry. Carrie is my Gareth Bull production Zyro, made by Riot. I'm sure that's awesome. I like Gareth Bull's designs, and let's face it, Riot makes a wickedly awesome knife. A zombie knife has to be a fixed blade. A machete would be good, if not a sword. Don't take chances with zombies. I couldn't agree with you more, James. You need that standoff room, you know? You need that, you know, shorter things for if you have no choice and they're right up on you. But yeah, machete you can make great use of. Have a Knife Day says, I've spent quite a bit of money getting aftermarket sheaths to replace sheaths like that. Leather is just the way to go with some. Yes, indeed. He's talking about when I was showing this off and that sheath. I mean, this is great. It'll do. But let's face it. I mean, this is a kind of a combat oriented sheath. And this, though a fighting knife, you want something. I don't know. You want something a little more. Well, it's like this. I love the movie Gangs in New York, but hated that U2 was the outgoing song. U2, it's like I don't like anachronisms. I don't like, you know, old timey movies with freaking Bono singing with electric guitar and all that. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. No, and like this to me is an old timey knife. It's an old timey fighting knife. It's a you know, it's a Musso style Bowie. It should have a leather sheath. Anyway, sorry about that. Seems Logical says whoever didn't say kukri as their zombie survival knife is wrong. The kukri is perfect for this scenario. The original Swiss Army knife before the Swiss Army knife existed. Kukris do it all. Well, that's something seems logical. I was about to say from part of your comment is that it's a great all-around tool for sure. Whereas you wouldn't want to have to be shelter building with this. You know, you could, but you really would rather have a kukri for something like that. Machete also fits that bill. Jeter, good to have you here, G. Just got here. Best large Bowie I have is my Ontario Raider Bowie. That's an awesome knife. I've used the heck out of mine, and it's got all of the traction coating is wearing off. It looks so cool, and it's comfortable in hand. Though I found that mine was almost too grippy, so I put some baseball tape, the tape you put on a baseball bat. I put some of that on the handle for most of my hand, up towards the guard and back towards the bird's beak pommel. I left the exposed rubber just for extra grippiness, but yeah, I love it. I love that knife. Jerry C says, everybody hit that like button for the channel. Yes, please hit the like button. And as we draw to a close here, I wanted to say, Seems Logical says, the Melissa Backwoods collab with TCal came out really well. Sold out super fast in Atlanta. Yeah, it did. It's a great one. I just wanted to say that I'd love to get up to 50,000 subscribers. That's 9,820 away, roughly. So I know that's a long way off. But when we get there, when I get there, when me and Jim get there, one of you will get to win a custom handmade Dirk Pinkerton knife, to be determined what it's going to be. I have a feeling we're going to do a Razorback, but he's got so many cool knives. We're going to have to talk about it, and I'm going to keep bringing it up and seeing what the general consensus is. But it's not, if you're here and you're not subscribed, costs you nothing. Subscribe, and it'll get you closer to a custom fixed blade Dirk Pinkerton knife. You say, how will it do that? Well, we'll give it away here, and it'll be all access. We'll give it away on a Thursday Night Knives sometime in the future. Hopefully not too far in the future. Bob Smith says, I'm sold on the kukri, but I always get distracted and spend elsewhere. That's funny. That's funny, because until Dave sent me that kukri that I just showed off, I was in the same boat. I was like, I need to get a kukri, like I buy so many bowies, I just have to get another kukri. But he sent me one, and I was like, okay, I'm covered. Malcolm Holt, good to have you here, Malcolm. Hello, Bob, and everyone else. It's good to have you here, Malcolm. Super Spurg, Barong, great choice. Great choice. Dawn of the Dead was a creepy one, says Drinkwater. How you doing, Drinkwater? Good to have you here, man. Yeah, I agree. Dawn of the Dead was a great movie. I'm partial to the 2000s version. Seems logical. Yeah, something about the 70s made the first one even creepier. The low budget 70s movie made it a little creepier. Kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie still creeps me out because it's so low budget. It just looks like a snuff film. James Moore says, it's hard to beat Night of the Living Dead, but I think I Walked with a Zombie may be a better film for zombies and laughs. Shaun of the Dead, yep. Best zombie movie soundtrack was I Was a Teenage Zombie. James has the deep knowledge. Yeah, Night of the Living Dead is also kind of creepy, but to me, like what scares me the most, creeps me out the most, besides like demon possession, though most of those movies aren't scary to me. They're kind of overwrought, but is the 70s looking snuff film kind of creepiness, like it's real. Mike says, look up Arizona Custom Knives for the Highwayman 3. I will. I love Arizona Custom Knives. Bob Smith, thanks, Bob. Good tips. Good tip on handles. My pleasure. Guys, we're rolling into the station here. King of Knives, nice to see you here, King of Knives. For my zombie knife, out of what I own, I'd probably go with the Tops Storm Vector. You're number 2 on the Storm Vector. Someone else said that. I think that was, I don't know, can't remember who that was. Pete Davidson. I would also be wanting my armored leather bike jacket. Hell yeah. Gloves and a helmet. The sacrifice in mobility I would feel would be worth it in close quarters. Yes, sir. Got to protect the grill. G-Ball says, now I'm looking for swords. That's what happens when you come here, sir. Now you're not for nothing. Go look at traditionalfilipinoweapons.com. You'll be happy you did. Malcolm Holt, what would be a good intro level sword? Probably not a real long one, but maybe gladiator size-ish. Get a Schrade. I don't know what it's called. We're about to wrap, but let me get up and just grab this. Please, it'll take 2 seconds. You'll be glad I did. Right here. Get this. This is awesome. It's a Schrade, and it's designed by this was designed by Joshua Wagner, and it's awesome. It is awesome. It's light. It's got a recurve. I mean, this would be great. It's got a longish handle with a nice flare at the back. So if you need to come back here, and it's sharp and it's awesome. I don't like YouTube full stop. I don't either. Bono is just a douche. But I mean, I like their very early 80s stuff. Boy, October, War, and Joshua Tree. Everything after that, no thanks. Terminator Joe, Pinkerton giveaway. That's awesome, says Strings. All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. I got to wake up in 5 hours. Woo! So my Fridays are always a trip. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. I love these conversations. It's weird how we haven't actually spoken out loud to one another, or I haven't heard your voices, but it still feels like a conversation, like we're all hanging out in the pit or hanging out around the coffee table or the dinner table and just shooting the shit. I absolutely love it. So you guys have a great weekend. Have a great night. And I'll see you in the next one. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.